I punched Daniel. Daniel
Yeah.
punched Anthony. Anthony punched me. And we all knocked each other out. It
Wait,
was like,
if we can we
pop.
do that like on screen? If we all go like, I don't know which way Anthony's going to edit these videos.
I don't know.
We'll go,
Yeah. Like this. I
Why
went
am I
like
punching
this.
myself, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm
You knocked
punching
yourself
myself out.
double out, by
Yeah.
the way.
I don't know why.
I hit
I'm
you
getting
and then you hit
double punched.
yourself.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the movie podcast review of Creed 3. This is the pay-per-view episode that you have been waiting for. In one corner, he is the pride of Portugal, the Browse himself. Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I am so excited to talk about this film. We have been waiting such a long time for this one, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go 12 rounds with this movie.
What about 12 rounds with our contender, who in the other corner representing Italia, all the way from Vaughan, Canada, the Ferrari himself, Anthony. Anthony, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. I told Daniel before we started recording I was going to wear my sauna suit, and I wanted to get like sweaty for this fight that we're going to get into.
Not needed.
But yeah, it wasn't needed. So
No,
I chose not to wear my
definitely
sauna suit. But yeah.
It was good. And Jay, are you our referee today? Is that what's going on?
I'm actually fighting you guys as well.
I'm
like
it's a three-way fight.
I kind of come in the middle of it. Like you guys are like both really, really weak.
Yeah.
And then I come in and I win because I just start beating both of you.
Interesting. Okay, that's a great
But
way.
don't
At
you
least
lose
you know.
though? We would
No,
gang
no.
up
Why
on
would
you.
I lose? No, because you guys are both so tired that you're like, I still gotta beat Daniel because your mind is still like focused on.
But then I'm getting
Daniel.
beaten by you.
But then I'm coming in and I'm like, pop, pop, jab, left, right.
What kind of boxing match is this with a
It's,
three-man boxing
listen,
match?
I'd pay to watch it. I would pay to watch this fight. And I'm going to be in it, and I'd pay to watch it.
For years, boxing has stayed the same. I think
people.
This is the next evolution, right? Like a three-man boxing match where the third man doesn't come in until halfway. We need more twists and turns in sports. All of a sudden, we should just have basketball like that.
I think you're describing the world's wrestling
exactly.
entertainment. You know,
Yeah, but
I think
this
that's what
is
you're
but
describing.
Similar, but still boxing. Like it still has to be punches.
Do we all get to wear costumes?
No, it's all you're wearing just your shorts and your boxing gloves.
All right. Well,
So who
that's
determines who comes in the last? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's the why are you the last person? Clearly,
Oh,
you're
I'm
gonna
also
win because you're the.
I'm also sponsoring the fight. That's why.
fine. Oh my god. Okay, this
Yeah,
100% is WWE now.
Yeah, this is just
this
rigged.
wild.
It's just
This
a
is
rigged
just
fight.
A wild fight. But hey, it's the movie podcast, baby. Where I'm here for it.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make sure that everyone is going to have a very safe fight, and at the same time, I win.
There you go. That's fair.
'Cause
That's
all
100% fair.
All the money's going to go right towards me. The
Yes.
sponsor for the fight also is the Movie Podcast, which has new episodes that drop every single week. You know, we have interviews, we have reviews, and then we have these main episodes that come out ever so frequently. They just kind of sneak up on you like a 12th round punch in the face. I don't know if that's even a boxing term, but it is now.
We'll accept it. You know, the judges.
You can-
judges.
you can
judges
punch-
I'm
are
also the
accepting this
judge
one.
as
You
well.
could punch in
I'm
the
also-
Oh
12th
my
round.
god.
So
Okay.
You can punch in the 12th round. Yeah. Is there a round of boxing where they just don't do punches and maybe just talk? And
Yeah,
like,
actually,
hey,
what's
what's
little
going
do you
on?
know, Shay,
it's the end
this
of
is
the
this
match.
is end of the match, but also there is a little known fact that in the 10th round, if you make it there, as soon as you hear the bell, you can start kicking. That is only in the 10th round.
It's like
10th round
an Easter egg in the boxing match.
Exactly. It's kicking only, arms behind your back. That's how you fight.
It's an Irish jig, I believe. You have to do it like that too.
You do, and I think the audience really likes it. We don't see it too often,
No.
but the option is there. That is in the official boxing rule book written by me.
Wow. So looks like at the moment you and I are the ones that are kind of rigging this new age of boxing.
What are we even going to call this? You know, what is this boxing called?
Three-way boxing?
Loxing.
Loxing? What is the
Yeah.
L for?
Loxing does sound like a dance that you would do in the 10th round of boxing.
Yeah. Or
Okay,
foxing.
guys, time to lox or
Foxing.
foxing.
Fake boxing.
Fake
Foxing.
boxing. Yeah.
Fake
Yeah.
boxing, yeah.
And not only are the official rules written by Daniel, but also the official Movie Podcast Twitter account and Instagram account are run by us. And you can always follow us on there as well. It's at the Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Make sure you're following us on there. All of those links are down below. If you want to talk about this movie because you went to go watch it and you're like, oh my God, I need to get my boxing frustration out. I need to go punch something. You can do that in our Discord chat. You can join in, send a couple boxing gloves so we know that you came right from this episode. You
Yes,
can
of
go to
course.
your emoji keyboard or whatever they call it and go there, send a boxing glove so we know you came right from this episode because it would mean a lot,
It
right?
would. It would. It would mean a lot to us.
Of course. I can't wait to see the ending of this episode where we find out who actually wins because there will be a winner at the end of this episode. And again, I am the judge, so I will decide who
Okay.
wins this match.
I can't
The,
wait.
the movie that we are talking about today, of course, is Creed 3, and it is directed by Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and of course, he's everywhere right now. Jonathan Majors, he's a major player in Hollywood at the moment, and we're so excited to see him in this movie and so excited to talk about this. Of course, huge shout out to our friends over at Warner Brothers for inviting us to come watch this movie. We got the chance to watch it in IMAX as well, and I'm gonna be pretty confident that we're gonna be talking a lot about the IMAX experience of this film as well, because it's definitely a big portion of it. I do want to kick it over to Daniel for any announcements that we may have. So, Daniel, you got to do it almost like when you're coming into the ring and you're doing some announcements there, or maybe you're doing it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That works too. Or
Sorry,
you
the
can do
announcer
it like
went early.
he did. He went a little. He came too
Yeah.
early. Or you can do it like one of the score, the round people, the
The
people
round
that come in
people?
holding. They
Listen,
come in
ring
holding
boy.
out what round
don't
it is.
define me by shape, first of all.
The ring boy.
That's fine.
Call him a
Uh,
ring boy.
Ring boy.
Ring
Isn't
boy?
that just a wedding now? Are we at a wedding at this point?
I'm a ring. I'm the ring bearer. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just holding the signs up. For those on audio, you are not able to read exactly what's happening on these signs. But we have some incredible episodes out right now. As you already know, Shay's been killing it every single week, leading us through The Last of Us and shivving us. Apparently, it looks like that. But leading us through The Last of Us on HBO every single week. We have an incredible interview out with Lamar Johnson, who plays Henry in the show. And I'm not going to say who because it hasn't happened yet, but we're fingers crossed going to talk to another cast member. So look forward to that. We're really, really excited. We have lots of incredible reviews and interviews coming your way too. We spoke to the cast and director of Shazam. Our interview with David F. Sandberg is out right now. You can listen and watch that on YouTube. So make sure you don't miss it. And Shay already said it. Make sure you're following us on our socials on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. A like goes a long way in spreading the good word of the movie podcast. So if you could do that for us, that would mean the world. We have some incredible videos and episodes out. We don't want you to miss anything. So make sure you're following us there. And Shay also, I think he may have said it already or he's going to say it, but join our Discord. We have some great conversations going on in there. Let's talk about The Mandalorian. Let's talk about The Last of Us, Ant-Man, all these incredible movies. There are so many movies coming out in March. Scream 6 is on the way. We'll have a review out for that very soon too. So look out for everything. We have so much going on and a lot more surprises on the way.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Daniel, and appreciate the kind words as well. Yes,
For me?
join.
I
for
said
me.
kind words?
You said I've been killing it, or was that like a negative term? Like I've been killing people. 'Cause I
Shay's been
haven't.
killing every episode.
Oh.
Shay's the death of every episode.
Oh,
No,
well, then,
I take it back. I listen. Shay has been doing an incredible job. Just so I could be clear,
Thank you.
every single week with these episodes. The Last of Us means the world to all three of us, but I know Shay has really been the champion of the series for us and leading us through it. So I want to give you your flowers because I know at the end of this, one of us is going to lose. So I'm just trying to be the nice guy, at the weigh-in, at the photo shoot. I'm
you're
being the
bribing
nice
me.
guy right now.
Oh,
And then
I
when
can
we
buy
get
myself
to the fight,
flowers. Okay.
gloves off, 3-way fight.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to jump into this ring with this movie. Of course, Creed 3 is going to be exclusively in theaters from our friends at Warner Brothers on March 3rd. So please listen to our review and then make that decision of if you want to go watch it or not. I'm going to kick it over to Daniel for our synopsis.
Thank you for kicking it to me once again. Again, I'm telling you, one of these days, Shay, I'm going to say something really mean about you, but today's not that day.
One day.
Still dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed is thriving in his career and family life. When Damian, a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, resurfaces after serving time in prison, he's eager to prove that he deserves his shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damian, a fighter who has nothing to lose.
Look, I don't want to throw anything out there, but that does sound a lot like the plot of the movie podcast and how we came to be.
There's a deep lore to the movie podcast that people don't know about. One day
No.
we'll tell our story. One day
And
we'll
if
tell our story.
and if you're watching this on YouTube, hi, hello. Obviously, you are because I mean, why wouldn't you be? Give us that thumbs up if you can. Leave us a comment. Make sure you're subscribed. But also, please admire Daniel's mustache right now because November came and went, but right now, obviously, March mustache, I believe, right is the term.
First of March.
Mustaches for March.
Mustache March. Yeah, no, listen. Again, I know I want Anthony to talk about this movie very soon. I want to talk about this movie, but I do want to say this is all leading up to the Mario movie. This is all this is. You know, I wore the Nintendo hat in February.
Yeah.
I'm taking a step further. We're leading up to Mario Day on March 10th. Now it's Mario movie time. I'm leading up to it.
Oh boy.
He's gonna shave his mustache. Mario's gonna shave the mustache before the movie comes out.
First scene of the
Why?
film, he just shaves it. He's like, I've been defined by this mustache for too long.
Also,
takes it
Michael
right
B.
off.
Jordan, great mustache. So
Great
Well, he's got like a goatee though.
yeah, well, if I
There's-
don't look at his chin, it's fine.
There is a period where he has a beard.
He does
Yeah.
have a beard for a bit, but
He
now
does.
we're going into spoiler territory for facial hair in this movie.
We didn't want
which I
people
know
to
is a
he had
big.
beard.
it's a big thing. Like there's a subreddit out there that doesn't want to know about the beard,
Yeah.
the hair journey.
Michael Beard Jordan? We don't know.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah.
We don't know. But let me kick it over to Anthony for your first reaction to Creed 3, Anthony.
I'm gonna be quick with my reaction, just like a 1-2 first round knockout. Creed 3 is a great film. Michael B. Jordan did a really, really good job with it, and I'm just shocked that we got the story of these two characters. So in terms of just the fight sequences and the not the hatred, but like just the anger they had for these two to be in the ring and to box it out and to tell this interesting story about Adonis's childhood and where he came from and all the things that we kind of missed in the first two movies that we are going to get in this one. And it kind of sums it up really nicely packaged fight sequences, nicely packaged brotherly moments, but it's just a really, really good boxing film. And Michael B. Jordan just dominates on the screen when him and Jonathan Majors are fighting. They feel like they're fighting. And I remember Michael B. Jordan saying he wanted to shoot this very much like an anime. He wanted the punches to feel something. And I know from like the previous Rocky movies, there's a lot of the rallying of coming back from nothing. But this one felt really hard and it felt really rough and it was raw. And you could literally see the sweat being punched off someone's back to the sweat being punched off someone's face. It was all in all a fantastic film. You got to watch in IMAX because a lot of the sequences, especially the boxing sequences, are shot with IMAX cameras. But this movie has everything that the previous Rocky movies had. Like there's a little bit of Rocky 3 in it. There's a little bit of Rocky 4 and 5. There's, like we mentioned the beard. There's a beard sequence and there's, of course, a training montage. Everything that you love about the Rocky world and now in a Creed world is all there, and it's delivering a great story. So, I give Michael B. Jordan a shout out because he took a huge undertaking to take on someone like this, be an actor as well as being a first-time director and giving us this type of story. It reminds me of when Sylvester Stallone directed Rocky 2 and he had to be the actor and he had to be the director at the same time as well as a writer. And there's so many things to this story, but there's a lot of homages and there's a lot of new things that add to just Creed being his own person rather than falling back to just Rocky being that person, that guidance. He is now his own man in Creed 3. So really, really good film. I really enjoyed it. I know that was more than one round.
Yeah,
That was like
I
3
don't know.
rounds, 4
That was
rounds.
what-
You
that was
talked
a few
for
rounds,
so
yeah.
long that I was like, I don't know if this is the quick one that you were thinking about. I'm gonna do a 1-2 punch and then keep going for 11 more rounds.
And then a little jab. You got to jab it for a bit, and then
Yeah. I was like, oh wow, this seems like a regular quick first reaction. Oh, that was great, man. You absolutely hit it. And I think what I love so much about Creed 3 is the fact that Adonis Creed's life and Michael B. Jordan's life is very parallel. You look at the first film, at that time, Michael B. Jordan was a well-known actor, but he might have not had the roles that I think were defining him. And then he
Right.
came out with Creed, and that really made him a household name. And we keep pursuing, we keep moving forward in his career and Adonis's career until we get to Creed 3, where he's at the top of his game. He's like the absolute greatest, world heavyweight champion. And Michael B. Jordan at this point is also making phenomenal movies. He's always looking out. And now he's also directing, kind of like how Adonis, he has his own gym. He's doing all these great things for the boxing community. Michael B. Jordan has now solidified himself as one of the best directors that's working out there right now. Each moment in this movie is so beautifully well thought that you kind of get lost in it. There's so many times where I was so blown away by how the images looked, how the fight sequences looked. And again, like you mentioned in IMAX, you're getting about 26% more screen time there. You're getting that fully, the bars are gone and you're
Yeah.
seeing the immersion that is
Immersive is it. Yeah, you're right.
absolutely. And Daniel, I think you did mention that the sound of the punches, it literally felt like they were punching through the screen. I
Yeah,
literally at one point I saw it. I looked over at you and you had bruises, and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I realized Anthony was hitting you, and then it all kind of made sense. It
it
all
made sense.
it all came
It
full
did make
circle.
sense. Yeah.
But Michael B. Jordan delivers a knockout performance, and it's one of his best in terms of acting, and also finally as a directorial debut. Creed 3 is a real heavy hitter. Daniel, please let's get to your first reaction.
I love this movie so much. Honestly, like this has been a film. Creed is. It's no secret that Creed is one of my favorite films of all time. The 2015 Creed. I absolutely adore that movie. I think it's a perfect film, beginning to end. Um, we have Creed 2 that came out. I think it's still a really solid film. A lot that I really like in it, but I do think that it was missing a little bit of the magic and that rawness and that ferocity that the first film had. Creed 3 delivers on all fronts. And I think when you look at Michael B. Jordan, I mean, what can you say? He takes on directing duties with complete confidence and just masterful technique. Shay was mentioning, you look at the scenes in this film, you look at the fight scenes, you're looking at some of the most inventive boxing fight scenes that I think we've seen in a really long time. Because for a lot of boxing movies, you know what to expect. There's going to be a lot of slow motion. There's going to be a lot of hitting each other back and forth. And not only did this movie have that, but we mentioned, and Anthony mentioned, the anime inspiration. There's moments in this film where it just turns into like, okay, just in an episode of an anime right now where everyone just fades away. These characters are fighting. They go into like this different realm almost, and it's just them. And I love that it shows the physicality of boxing, but also the mental game. And I think that's what this movie succeeds in so well. You're telling a great story of the Adonis Creed family, um, but you're also telling almost like a redemption story for Damian. And I think Jonathan Majors, that's a name you're hearing a lot on the movie podcast. It's a name you're hearing everywhere. Obviously, we had him as Kang, we have him in Magazine Dreams, and here he is with another incredible role. A role that you want to root for him, but he also is so unpredictable. Anytime Jonathan Majors is on screen, I'm like, what is he going to do next? I don't know if I should want to give this guy a hug or like put up my dukes because he's going to start fighting me. Like, and I think that's what's so fun about his performance. He has like this intensity to him, and we were talking about it afterwards that he gives me vibes of like John Bernthal. He gives me vibes of Tom Hardy because there's like this wildness to them, and they're quiet. And I think there's so many moments of just quiet moments of these characters. Adonis and Damian just looking at each other. And I think when we look at Jonathan Majors and we look at Michael B. Jordan, they're in the best shape of their lives in this film. They are giving it their all. And when this movie was done, I was just left there. There were so many moments where I was sitting up in my seat because I was just like, I'm at the edge of my seat watching this right now. And seeing it in IMAX, I felt every punch. Like Shay was saying, I went home like sweating. I was dripping after the end of this movie. And especially leading into that training montage and leading into that final fight, it's absolutely the best that we've seen on the big screen when it comes to the world of boxing, and I cannot wait to watch it again. This movie is fantastic, and like we said, like it's made for the big screen, and it's just ferocious throughout. I loved it. I loved it, and for it to be Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, I cannot wait to see what he does next.
You're absolutely right. And talking about Jonathan Majors' character as Damien, I, I want to dive into that a little bit more because there's a lot of movies out there, a lot of franchises, some that go fast, some that go furious, that will try to rewrite the history of the previous films before by introducing characters that were like, this character was always there, they were always hidden in the background. And lo and behold, now they're out for revenge. So I was a little worried kind of going to this movie. I'm like, how are, like, even though we haven't spent that much time with, Adonis Creed, we've just had two films. Are they going to be able to integrate Damian or Jonathan Majors really naturally, and will it flow? And my god, it did. Like, they did such a great job of making that element believable, and I totally bought that all these things happen. Why Adonis hasn't spoken about this character because of the implications that have occurred. So I loved all those things that this movie was introducing because they all felt natural. And Jonathan Majors is unstoppable. He is 0% body fat. He is walking around like I honestly think that if someone tried to shoot him, the bullet would just bounce right off of him.
Yeah, he's
Like, it
Superman.
would
Like, that is
just
Superman.
it would
Yeah.
I think Superman would cower in fear in front of Jonathan Majors. Like, he is that just intense looking. And throughout the whole film, he's very unpredictable, like you mentioned, Daniel. But I love that performance of his because he never kind of hams it up. He never goes full villain. There's
No,
that level of humanity there, that level of empathy that you still feel. And throughout the film, I kind of wanted to root for both. I felt Damien's pain, but I also understood Adonis's purpose.
I think when we're looking at, like this trilogy of Creed films, I don't know if we're going to get more. I think Michael B. Jordan wants to do more. It's all about legacy, right? The first film is Adonis trying to find out that who like find what his legacy is, make a name for his own. And then we get to Creed 2 and we're looking at, okay, I am now dealing with the sins of the past. I'm dealing with the sins of my father. My dad died in the ring by Drago. I'm going to fight his son. And that was also a great story to tell with Rocky, obviously, who should have stopped the fight with Apollo in the later in Rocky 4. And now they both were connected to that film's villain. And I really like what happens in this movie is that, yeah, this is a character. Damien's a character that is from a part of Adonis's life that he doesn't want to remember. This guy had a rough childhood. He does not want to remember this side of who he was and what he was before he found, kind of his own name. So I think it makes total sense. I don't think it ever feels like it was out of place or like, yeah, he's like a villain coming back for revenge. It's not like John Cena being like, yeah, I'm your brother, man. That's my John Cena impression from Fast Nine. I'm your brother,
Wow.
man.
I'm sorry. I thought John Cena came in.
Sorry,
I
it
don't know. Our
sounded
budget
like a
was
little
this
bit more
high.
like Jeff Bridges as like the dude. It's like, I'm your brother, man.
I'm your brother, man.
Like it's never anything like that because again, when we first meet Adonis in Creed 1, in the first Creed, he's living, at a orphanage or in a group
He's a
home, right?
juvenile detention center,
A
right?
juvenile detention center, yeah. And this is a kid who's gone group home to group home, as he said. And I think this movie only enhances what we've gotten before.
It
This
builds upon
kid,
it.
yeah, it builds upon the legacy of this character. Adonis was never going to be a character that, oh, look, this woman who was Apollo's wife has come to save me. I'm not going to have an easy childhood now. No, like this kid is still somebody who was going through stuff as he was getting older. Life doesn't just change. You don't just flip a switch and you're a different person. And I like that we got to see Adonis a little bit more older than what we got to see in the juvenile detention center in the first film, but someone who was just trying to find his way. And you really get to learn more about who he is, his background with Wood Harris's character Duke, who I love. I love Wood Harris. Anytime he's in a movie, I'm just like, I love this guy. He's so good. And I think Duke is a character that, we got to see a bit of him in the first Creed. We got a lot more of him in Creed 2, and we got a lot more of him in this film. He I think he plays, you believe that character. You believe that, like, I'm this guy, I'm in your corner, I support you. But yeah, I mean, when you're looking at this trilogy legacy, it's a common theme throughout all three of them. And I think this film just delivers on that front.
Yeah, I want to touch on Wood Harris as well. He's so phenomenal. I remember as soon as the film, while we were watching the movie, I looked over and I'm like, man, Wood Harris, he's another secret ingredient actor. Like, you just toss him in any film, and you don't know what kind of outcome you're gonna get, but the outcome is gonna be phenomenal. As Duke, he's given a lot more responsibility in this film as well. Obviously, we don't have Sylvester Stallone in this movie, so a lot of that heavy lifting is being done by Wood Harris to impart that wisdom on Adonis and to kind of guide him in the boxing world. And it really plays that naturally. I think he's kind of getting his flowers more so in this movie. And I'm totally here for it. There's a lot of great moments. I want to give a huge shout out as well to Thaddeus J. Mixon and Spence over the second as young Adonis and young Damian, because they fit the bill so well. I totally believe that these are the people that are going to grow up to be the ones that we end up seeing in this film. And that moment that we kind of get that initial flashback about who these characters are and why this happened, that was the one of my favorite first 15 minutes of a film, because I just felt like I was on a joyride with them. I felt like I was transported back to 2002, and I got to be with these characters, and I wanted almost more of that because they were delivering such a brilliant performance, and I loved seeing the rise of these two people.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys because it is like there is this fine line of, is Damien, is he good? Is he bad? What is his motive? And he does play an older, I guess he's an older brother to Adonis. So I guess he's a couple of years older than him. So
3 years, yeah.
he's also older in the boxing world. Do you think, like, for someone who just comes out of jail, can just pick up the boxing gloves and actually duke it out with this world champion? Like, what was your feeling when that was his whole motive, to be like, yeah, I want to fight this guy? Like, was that something that you thought, is this believable, or did it just felt kind of like, nah, I couldn't believe exactly what was happening?
It's interesting because you have a character that, yes, was in prison, but I'm trying to think, I'm like, this is a guy who feels like his life was taken from him. And I think that you're looking at someone who is 18 years, knows he's missing the prime of his life. He is every day fighting for his life to live, and also fighting, thinking that, when I get out of here, I'm going to have my shot at the belt. And I think it's interesting that he got to, live his life feeling like, Adonis stole his, even though, Apollo Creed is Adonis's father. That was always his birthright to continue that legacy if he wanted to. Um, but I think that like there was that hesitation, almost like Michael B. Jordan had in the film, where it's like, nah, man, like that's impossible. That doesn't just happen, right? And us as the audience, me watching, I'm like, no, dude, you can't just go for the title. Like you're just like a no one right now. You can't do that. But I think because Damien was such a character who was fighting within jail and outside of jail, like, no, I'm going to make this happen. So like I believed in it, and I think you even see it in the way he boxes as well too. He has a very different stance, a very different way of fighting. Again, like the way he blocks is like he just has a different style of
Yeah,
his approach to
it's
boxing
a very
compared to
a
Adonis.
street level type of
Yeah.
boxing. But he also had, and the one thing that I think Adonis missed, or realized in Damien, was the hunger.
Yeah.
Like, here's a guy who's come out of jail. I know it seems like, how has this guy come out of jail and just be able to fight a heavyweight contender, right? But it's the hunger, it's the drive.
Mhm.
Like, there are sequences in this movie where it showcases exactly where his mindset is at. And because of his mindset, and this relates all the way back to like Rocky 3 and Rocky 2, where when you have like that eye of the tiger,
Mhm.
you can accomplish anything. And you see it in his eyes. You see that, I missed out 18 years of my life where I could have been that champion, and this is my chance, and I will do
Yeah.
everything. And that's what is exactly where Rocky
Survival.
was, right? Rocky
Yep.
was what, 29, 30 when he got his chance with Apollo, and that hunger really showcased why he won. And and there's these parallel connections to these characters that I really like, where you can pinpoint, okay, well, Damien really relates to Rocky more than he does relate to Creed, because Creed grew up in, like, he had a troubled life, but he also had a good life. While
Mhm.
Rocky, you know, grew up poor, and pretty much his whole life was, being poor and not succeeding and being a loser, which I feel Damien kind of connected with. And they kind of showcase that Rocky element into Damien's character,
Yeah. That's a
right?
great point.
I know
Yeah,
that's
that's a
kind of
great
like,
point.
there's a lot of things where I'm like, man, I really want to see more Damien, and I hope to see it. I know there's a whole bunch of, like, because of MGM's ownership has now changed to Amazon, and a whole bunch of studios are now the studios now talking about series, and who knows if there'll be a Rocky 7, and where Sylvester Stallone plays a part in it, and where Creed plays a part in it. But I would love to see series revolved around these characters because they're so strong, especially like
They are.
Drago. I remember watching Creed 2 and I'm like, Drago deserves his own series because there's
Yeah.
struggle. When you have struggle, you're like, oh, I want to see that because I feel struggle. And when you feel struggle, you're
Yeah.
empowered to be,
Mhm.
something more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think you look at that where it's like, yeah, like you think of what Damian lost, you think of what Drago lost when Drago lost in Rocky 4. You don't like us, like we're cheering for Rocky. He overcame this mountain, right? But you also think about what happened to these characters after that, right? And I think this franchise, this series, Rocky and Creed, they are so ripe, like you said, Anthony, for just incredible characters that there's so much room to explore. This movie is short; it's under 2 hours. I could have easily taken another 30 minutes of like developing some more time, maybe some more fights in there, more training, because like it was a great time. And I think obviously it's the perfect length that it is right now, but these characters, you enjoy living with them, you enjoy learning about them and experiencing their lives. You want more of it. So I really hope that we get to tell more stories within this world.
Absolutely. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Tessa Thompson. She's phenomenal in this movie. She provides great emotional weight for Adonis, because Adonis in this one also dealing a lot more with his emotions. Usually he's so used to just punching his way through things, and there's that level that's kind of brought here. And of course, their lovely daughter Amara, played by Mila Davis Kent, who also adds a lot more to Adonis's character. We get a lot of different
Fantastic.
facets
Yeah.
to him. So really, really, really good stuff. If there's anything you guys want to say it now, or we're gonna jump over to our final recommendation.
Oh, I thought you were going to call it our final round. It kind of is our final
Well,
round.
this is our final round, and then at the end,
Yeah.
obviously, I will announce who wins.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm excited.
Well, let me jump over to our final round here, and let's kick it off with Anthony. Anthony, give us your final recommendation for Creed 3.
I'll be quick because I know my reaction was pretty long. So I'm just going to say this is a definite watch it.
Oh, that was quick. Okay, I don't know why. I thought for a second you'd be like, to definitely watch it. Go 2 rounds of me, 3 rounds of Rocky. I don't know. Daniel, please give us your final recommendation for Creed 3.
I absolutely love this movie. I think this is going to be a movie that I'm going to fall in love with even more and more as I watch it. So honestly, I'm gonna go bold this year. I'm gonna start off really strong. First one of 2023. I'm gonna say this is a real gem. I think what Michael B. Jordan was able to accomplish with his first film, to take on directing duties with confidence and just masterful technique. This is a real gem. He deserves to be in the director's chair for whatever he does next. I am on board. I am first in line. Go watch this movie. If you love Creed, if you love sports films, if you just love a good time at the theater, Creed 3 is your best bet.
Thank you so much. And for myself, I went back and forth between real gem and a hard watch it, but I'm thinking back to these fight sequences and how amazing they look, that anime style, the cut to the eyes, the slow motion. And I really, really enjoyed that part of it, alongside obviously Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors just clashing at each other. I think this one's a real gem, and I'm really excited to see more movies that come out this year that can earn that rank as well, because obviously we love movies here and we love talking about them. I don't want to take too long. I want to get to who won this fight, and
Clearly
unfortunately
you
none
won.
of us did.
You
None of
and
us
Daniel
did.
won. You became one person because that's how
No, the
that's that
problem
you guys
is
became one person. I had to fight 2 people
no.
now.
No, what happened was we all went for a punch. I punched Daniel. Daniel
Yeah.
punched Anthony. Anthony punched me, and we all knocked each other out. It
Wait,
was like,
if we can we do
pop.
that like on screen? If we all go like, I don't know which way Anthony's going to edit these videos.
I don't know.
We'll go,
Yeah, like this. I
Why
went
am I
like
punching
this.
myself, by the way?
Yeah,
I'm
you knocked
punching
yourself
myself out.
double out. By
Yeah.
the way,
I don't
Yeah.
know why.
I hit
I'm
you,
getting
and then you hit
double punch.
yourself.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we all just kind of flopped on the ring, and then everyone
Yeah.
that paid for this event was really upset. They were like, "We
Yeah.
didn't get a resolution."
Way to end it though. That's pretty strong.
It's bold. I think it's
Yeah.
very bold. I don't. Not a lot of movies do that. It's kind of like the end of one of those really good movies, Creed 3. Of course, we are the Movie Podcast. Make sure you are following us at the Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course, you can see all of our links down below wherever you're listening to us. Leave us 5 stars or a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to us, and if you can leave a comment, that'd be great. Make sure to join our Discord as well, and drop a boxing glove in there, like I mentioned in the beginning. That way, we know you came from this episode, and that'd be really, really helpful for us to see. Hey, you listened. That's really good. You got good listening comprehension skills. That's how we kind of base things. And of course, that was this time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.